Hi, welcome to Networks Learning. My name is Riaz Gul. Today we are going to see how you can configure a source net on Palo Alto Firewall. So I'll show you the topology. In my previous lab, I have shown you how you can configure basic routing on Palo Alto Firewall in order to pass your LAN traffic towards the internet. So you can see my previous video for the routing purpose, and in today's video we are going to see how you can configure the NAT policies on Palo Alto Firewall. So basically we have two kinds of NAT configurations on any device or in the networking. One is source NAT and one is destination NAT. There are other kinds of NATs as well, but most commonly used are source and destination NAT. Source NAT is basically used to route your private IP addresses to the public IP addresses coming from your LAN going up to the internet or your WAN infrastructure. And destination is one another kind of NAT which is used to allow access from internet towards your LAN segment. So the one is direction, the first direction, that is the source NAT, is going from your LAN to the upstream based on your scenario, and the second one is to allow from internet, that is your public IP will be netted to your private IP address towards your LAN. So there are two kinds of most prominently used NAT configurations. But inside source NAT we have different kind of variations. Like you can have one public IP address over here on the firewall. Suppose your ISP provided you /30 IP address. One is binded on your firewall segment and the other one is on your ISP segment. So you can have this configuration called port address translation or dynamic IP and port in Palo Alto's term. You can use this configuration to route your non-routable private IP addresses on your LAN to the internet using this IP address. So this is called the port address translation. In this configuration, your firewall will use outside IP address with different kinds of ports. So any request coming from LAN will be translated to outside IP address with one port. So it recognizes and it holds the session based on the different ports, and the NAT configuration is performed on Palo Alto firewalls. This is one kind of NAT which you can perform. The second type is dynamic IP and port. In dynamic IP and port, you can have similar number of local IPs like private IP addresses mapped to the same number of public IP addresses. So it means if I want to have 10 LAN IP addresses, private IP addresses, and I have the same number for the public IP addresses. So any request coming from my LAN segment, like request 1, request 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all these IPs will be used on public side for routing the private IP addresses to the internet. So same number of local IPs compared to the same number of public IP addresses. It's called the dynamic IP translation. So what if I have 10 public IP addresses and I have 100 LAN IPs? So first 10 requests coming from your LAN IPs, different LAN IPs, will be catered to 10 public IP addresses which are available in your pool. If one of another machine, which is number 11, makes a request to go to the internet, that request will not be completed because all the outside public IP addresses available on the firewall are completely utilized. So this is called the dynamic IP and dynamic translation, which is listed over here in Palo Alto website. You can also see dynamic IP translation. The other one is, third one is the static one, which is one-to-one mapping. You have one public IP address, you have one private IP address, you map one-to-one. So it will use only that private IP address, specific IP address that you define, to map it to the outside internet routable address. So this is how you can configure. But over here in this lab, we are going to use the port address translation, which is the outside interface, which is binded on the outside interface. This is 10.10.50.2 IP address over here. But this is the lab scenario. Inside lab scenario, we are just demonstrating how you can perform in real world. This is not the public IP address, but somehow I have further netted this subnet on the edge router to go to the internet. So from the LAN we will be able to ping to internet, that is 8.8.8.8, to verify the configuration, and we'll also check on the Palo Alto firewall. So let's move on to the configuration part. Basic routing is there. I will show you the configuration on my end PC. So I'm able to reach the gateway address, which is the firewall, and I'll also check the internet connectivity from here. It should not be successful because we have the routing, but we don't have the NAT configuration over here. If you will see over here, you will see some sessions because traffic is routed, but NAT is not there. That's why we are not getting any response from the we are getting, but the NAT configuration is not there. So routing is there, NAT is not there. So we'll go to the NAT configuration side under policies. We have NAT configuration over here. We'll create a policy. Source NAT for LAN. Original packet source is LAN zone. Destination zone is WAN. Source address we can map it to LAN subnet, and destination address would be any. Translated packet would be translation type. We'll use the dynamic IP. Dynamic IP import. Translated address, you can give the interface address or any other translated address from that subnet. We'll use the interface outside, which is ether 1/1. You can see over here, and we'll use this IP address which is on the outside interface. Let me commit the changes. So I will check on the NPC. My PC is here and firewall is also here, and I will keep it here and ping to 8.8.8, and on the firewall we can see over here once the commit is successful and we are able to see the ping response from the internet from my LAN segment. And also we can monitor over here that we have some sessions from Palo Alto Firewall based on the translation. So over here you can see we have the source IP address 1.100, which is my PC. Zone is LAN zone, and protocol is 1, which is ICMP. Translated IP address is 10.10.50.2, which is the outside interface of the IP firewall, and is going to 8.8.8. So this is how you can have your NAT configuration. This is the most common use case that you use in the organizations. Most of the organizations use this configuration. So on MikroTik, so basically I have made this subnet as the public, consider as supposed as public IP address 10.10.50.0/29 to demonstrate this. But on the edge router, I have also performed the NAT configuration for this subnet, so that any traffic coming to this interface should also be reachable to the internet. So let me show you over here on my edge router on the firewall in the NAT configuration. So it's also performing NAT to the outside interface of the router, which is Ethernet 1, and it's connected to my physical system. So from that system, this subnet is being routed to the internet. So this is how you can achieve your basic kind of what you say netting on Palo Alto Firewall. So we also have some sessions on this router as well. You can see the connections which are coming from opposite side. It's going to this is the outside IP address of this router, and it's sending traffic to 137.1. You can see over here, and the traffic is from the firewall. We can see that 10.10.50.2 is the source IP address going to 8.8.8, which means that firewall is not sending the source IP, actual source IP address. It's sending the traffic with the source 10.10.50.2. And we also saw the NAT table on the firewall. So you can see over here is performing NAT. So this is how you can have the configuration for basic NAT configuration. The other is the destination NAT, which we will use in next lab, so that you can have idea how you can configure. So this is how all it works. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe my channel, and if there's anything from your end, you can let me know, and we can have simulation as well based